Holy fucking shit, dude. So I think I speak for everybody here when I mention the fact that I was not expecting at all whatsoever R-Truth to appear during the tag team match between John Cena, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. I was not expecting him at all to get involved in this match at all, because obviously we know what's been going on with R-Truth. We know the whole "We Want Truth" thing. It's been chanted around during Raw, during SmackDown, so we know what's going on with R-Truth, but I wasn't expecting him at all here tonight. So I don't know if this was a work the entire time, or whether or not this was an actual legitimate, like, I guess, piece of news, and they kind of reworked it back into the storyline. But whatever the case was, I have to commend them, because this obviously took me by a massive surprise, took the audience by a massive surprise. Los Angeles was lit for R-Truth and his return, because obviously me at home watching this, I popped big time, because like I said, I just was not expecting R-Truth to return, because you had some sort of guess here that the main event, which was the tag team match, something big was going to happen during the main event. I figured the Money in the Bank was going to come into play, maybe a cash in at the last minute here, and we'll get to the eventual Money in the Bank winner here in just a second. But first, let's discuss this tag team match. Overall, for the tag team match, I thought it was a decent enough match here. I think it definitely picked up at the end there. You had, John Cena getting speared by Jey Uso onto the announce table. You had Logan Paul deliver a moonsault onto Jey Uso. You had Logan Paul get suplexed from the top rope. At the same time, he's holding like the sort of, I guess, the drone or whatever it is as he's getting suplexed. So I thought that was a nice piece of work there. But let's go on to the finishing moments of this match, where John Cena, he grabs the championship belt. He hits Cody Rhodes over the head with it. I'm thinking to myself, man, they're just going to, rework the finish of WrestleMania 41 here with John Cena just laying out Cody Rhodes. But eventually you hear sort of the crescendo of the audience build up and build up. You see a hooded figure appear out of nowhere and tackle John Cena, starts to pummel John Cena, and he gets up, he takes off his hood, and he reveals himself to be R-Truth. R-Truth got a massive pop here from the live audience, got a massive pop from me as well at home watching this. Cody Rhodes capitalizes on this, delivers the crossroads, pins John Cena, his first, I think, pinfall over John Cena in, I think, 16 or 15 years or whatever they said on commentary. I still have a lot of questions regarding the R-Truth scenario, because I don't know if this was a work the entire time and we just got worked the fuck out of this entire scenario, kind of like, when Mark Henry announced his retirement, how we all just got worked then, or whether or not this was an actual legitimate thing and they kind of pivoted and made this a part of the story in a sense. But whatever the case is, like I said, I have to commend them, because I was not expecting to see R-Truth at all here. And I mentioned the Money in the Bank match. I guess we'll start off with the women's Money in the Bank match. But overall, of the two Money in the Bank matches, I am going to go with the men's side of the things. I think the men's side of the Money in the Bank was definitely a lot overbooked, which I think is probably what you need during these Money in the Bank matches. But we definitely got some cool spots here between all the women here. We got the Devil's Kiss on the top of the ladder here by Stephanie Vaquer. We got double code reds onto the ladders here, and eventually Naomi gets the win, as I rightfully sort of assumed she needed to get the win, because Naomi obviously is the one woman here where I was like, hey, it legitimately benefits her the most out of everybody here. And we also got an impromptu match, I guess you could say, because going into this event, there was only 4 matches announced for this entire event, and during the Worlds Collide show, Dominic Mysterio was present, and he challenged Octagon Jr. to a match here at the Money in the Bank PLE for the Intercontinental Championship. And afterwards, after this match concluded, I kind of thought to myself, I said, well, this was kind of, just a waste of time, because it really didn't do anything really. I guess the only thing that it really accomplished was just, promote the partnership between WWE and AAA, which, I mean, you could have literally just watched Worlds Collide and get a sense of what the partnership is, rather than just watch this entire match. So I think of the entire show, of the entire night, probably the weakest match on the entire card. Next, we move on to Becky Lynch against Lara Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought, from a hands-down sort of in-ring wrestling perspective, I thought this was probably the match of the night. I think Becky Lynch and Lara Valkyria There's something about these two women when they go and when they're in the same match together. There's obviously a chemistry between both women. Becky Lynch did get the win here. They kind of teased like, hey man, Becky Lynch, you know, maybe she can't beat Lyra Valkyria. She did get the win over Lyra after using the tights to her advantage in a roll-up, and Becky Lynch got the win here and is the new Women's Intercontinental Championship. Post-match, she obviously demands Lyra Valkyria raise her hand around four corners, put the championship on her waist. Lyra Valkyria does all this, but eventually German suplexes her. And I don't know about you, but I am led to believe that maybe there's going to be a one and final match here. I was expecting the return of Bayley. However, I thought Bayley, you know, you could have seen her whether it was post-match or whether it was during the match to help out Lyra Valkyria retain or whatever the case may be, but I kind of figured we were going to see Bayley here, but we did not. And next we move on to the men's side of the Money in the Bank match. Like I said, this was my sort of favorite thing in the entire show. The men's Money in the Bank side of the ladder match was definitely overbooked as fuck. But like I said, during a Money in the Bank ladder match, you kind of want it to be overbooked as fuck. We had the 6 participants. For me, one of the highlights was Penta. Penta was definitely one of the highlights here in this entire Money in the Bank match. There's a spot here in the match where Penta delivers Mexican destroyers to Andrade. There's ladder spots, obviously. Grande Americano gives a headbutt to Penta. LA Knight, I thought this was probably the craziest spot of the entire night. LA Knight delivers a suplex from the top of this fucking ladder, which they had promoted in Fireball because of course TKO, but he gives Grande Americano a suplex from the top. I thought that was fucking insane. I thought that was gnarly as hell. But eventually we get Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed come out. They destroy everybody in their path. Then we get the, I guess you could say the bloodline at this point. Jacob Fatu and Jason Mateo, they come out and they deal with both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Eventually, you know, everybody's down but Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is telling Solo Sikoa, climb to the top of the ladder. I got you. I love you, Solo. Climb to the top. You think Jacob Fatu is going to help Solo win the Money in the Bank match here. But Jacob Fatu pulls Solo's leg, tells him the infamous last words, I hate you, Solo. Jacob Fatu officially turns on Solo Sikoa, does a beating on him, gives him the moonsault, puts him through the ladder. Jacob Fatu is no longer associated with the bloodline. After months and months and months, Jacob Fatu no longer loves Solo. I thought that was the most cinema fucking thing in this entire match. I thought that was amazing. And now we move on to, I guess you could say, the low part of the match, because you know, LA Knight, he got multiple opportunities here. He got multiple times where you thought LA Knight was going to win. And for me, going into this match, I figured Seth was the too predictable option. I felt like throughout the weeks, Seth was obviously making it clear that he was going to win, and WWE obviously made it clear that he was going to win. And at the end, there's kind of a little battle there between LA Knight and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wins the battle and goes to the top of the ladder to retrieve the briefcase. All this entire time, I'm thinking Roman Reigns is going to come out here and prevent Seth from winning. But no, Seth just wins the Money in the Bank match. And that's how we end the Money in the Bank match. Seth Rollins is the new Mr. Money in the Bank. And, you know, my immediate reactions, my immediate thoughts was, man, what a fumble. What a waste of Money in the Bank. Because obviously, like, I know the story that they're trying to tell. But I said, wow, that was uber predictable. I didn't think they were going to go the predictable route. I thought they were going to do the sort of, you know, last minute, you know, LA Knight win, and everybody was going to pop massively for that. And even now, it's like, what do we do with LA Knight? He did not win the Money in the Bank briefcase. What are we going to do with him now? Is he going to win the King of the Ring? Is that what the direction is for him? I'm seriously confused as to why LA Knight, you know, he was literally there. He literally could have won. You know, Seth, as much as Seth is going after the World Heavyweight Championship, he doesn't really need the Money in the Bank briefcase. He could literally win the King of the Ring tournament, and that's how we get Seth Rollins against Jey Uso down the line. But it's obviously clear what the agenda is now going forward for Monday night. Obviously going to get Jey Uso against Gunther. Seth Rollins is going to come out there, try to cash in, and then Roman will come out and save his cousin from a Seth Rollins cash in. But yeah, it definitely deflated me. I could tell it probably deflated the entire audience that LA Knight did not get the win there. But overall, I would say a pretty good Money in the Bank show here. Definitely some surprises I did not expect. Let me know what you guys think below of the entire Money in the Bank PLE, the Money in the Bank winners, and obviously the return of R-Truth. What did you think of that as a whole as well? Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you guys thought down below, and until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.